Hello everybody, Steve Politi, Ryan Dunleavy, Keith Sargeant from NJ.com. We're here at Husky Stadium. The Ash era begins with a bit of a dud. What was the final score? 48-13 loss to the Huskies. 24-0 in the first quarter. So many of the problems we saw last year, especially the pass defense, were evident early on when they dropped into that big hole. It was really just you couldn't recover from there. I mean, overall the defense played a little better later, but it was too late.
It's probably never a good sign that when we spend a good portion of the fourth quarter actually trying to find out, historical perspective, when was the last 40-point loss? I mean, they did, play well. I mean, Chris Ash talked about after the game that he was proud of that they didn't quit, that he gave effort. I think, they did, but just overall, I mean, after that first quarter, it was just over.
Right, and it wasn't all the defense, but I mean, the offense, three and out, fumble. I mean, that didn't help things. I think we're back in the same spot where with Chris Laviano, and clearly if they could find a better quarterback, they would have. I mean, just overall, what do they do now with that?
I actually thought the most telling part of the postgame was when Chris Ash said Gio Resigno, not Zach Allen, would have been the number 2 quarterback.
Right.
That tells you how not close it is to Chris Laviano, I think. And good for Gio for moving up from buried on the depth chart for 2, but I think that shows you how not close it is. Chris Laviano is going to be the quarterback for a while. He seemed to be okay. I think there was a missed snap or 2. He seemed to be okay with operating the actual offense, but he still was way too reluctant to throw the ball downfield, whether that's play calling or receivers not getting open or him. The offensive line, considering there's 3 redshirt seniors on it, did not play well, did not protect him enough, and he had the happy feet again.
Yeah, and that comes back to we talked about. There's not enough playmakers for this system. The whole goal of the system is to get guys into space, let them make moves, let them get yards. I mean, I just didn't see a lot of speed on either side of the ball.
No, and Janarian Grant, you saw him direct snap or wildcat, whatever you want to call it, but they actually had a little success. I would expect to see that going forward. Janarian Grant, clearly, it's no surprise that he's the best playmaker on the team.
Right. What did you think about Chris Ash afterward? I mean, overall, he seemed like he was praising the effort. He was steady. Obviously, he knows this was going to be a process. He knew there could be days like this.
This is a coach who's been brutally honest, throughout his 9 months that we've known him. I think we talked a little bit about, was he going to, just throw the team under the bus? I didn't think he was going to do it, but what did you think?
I mean, it sounded, we've heard it all before, right? The team played well, I'm proud of the effort, and it got hollow the last couple of years because we knew the team wasn't playing well, and the current coach told us last year's team quit.
Right.
So he came in, he's been honest so far, he's been brutally honest, so I'll believe him if he thinks the team did that. I expected a little more fist pounding, a little more this was unacceptable, but Darius Hamilton, to his credit, said the same thing. He said this felt different than years gone by, scores with similar games, because he said the attitude and effort was there. If Darius says it and Ash says it, I believe it.
And let's keep perspective. This is the number 14 team in the country.
Right.
No one knows how good Washington can be. Maybe they are, one of the top 15 teams in the country.
The other thing is Rutgers for 9 months. I know it's easy to win an off season, but for the last 9 months, everything's gone pretty well for Rutgers. And Drew Maringer said we got punched in the mouth. That's exactly what happened. They got punched. That first quarter was a storm punch in the mouth. Speaking of storms, hopefully we get home. But that was a storm, and that's exactly what happened.
And we'll find out what happened next. We might find out here from a prolonged stay in the West Coast. But Steve Politi, Ryan Dunleavy, Keith Sargeant signing off. Thanks for watching.